and follow the sound, please. So while you focus into the sound, mentally relax your body, relax your mind, and relax your breathing. And gently close your eyes. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. So, dear Dhamma friends, before we start our session, I will give some guidelines. It may help while you practice, and it may not going to help everybody, but if you are more mature to practice, then that is good. But at the same time, if you need some guidance, then it is okay to take that. So when it comes to this meditation practice, mainly we develop two mental cultures. So actually this meditation we may name as mental culture. That means you develop your mind. Another thing is you have to be matured with the practice. So that is very important. And becoming matured, cultivating your mind and uplifting your mind is the important thing with the tranquility meditation. So when it comes to that, our main purpose is understanding the reality, see the truth as it is. So for that we have to get into the vipassana level. So as you know, and according to our mental capacity, so whatever the experience we have and going to become limited. It always depend according to the capacity of the mind. So in tranquility meditation, what we does, we mainly bring our mind to calmness and make our mind usable and make our mind more relaxed and comfortable to stay in one point. So this is a path from here to there. You have a journey from this point to enlightenment. And so in this journey, there is a path that you have to walk. So in this path, there is something that you have to practice. You cannot do whatever you want. So when it comes to the path, the one important thing is, in any path, in conventionally also, whatever the path, there is always danger. When you make a move, there is always danger. So that's why you have to know the techniques or the informations, how to use on the way and how to stay on the path. Otherwise, you can go here and there. Still, there is a way that you can find the destination, but it always takes time. So the time is the Mara, time is the killer. The time is the things that come against us. So then when we practice meditation, time is important. That's why the teaching is important, because the teachings will help us to understand and make our journey more comfortable and go fast. So otherwise, just you close your eyes and yourself becoming neutral and stay with the silence mind, that also good. But becoming silent doesn't make any sense, and it doesn't take you to wisdom. So in this wisdom path, we in the beginning for tranquility meditation, we take our inhalation, exhalation as primary mental object. So then be discipline yourself to stay with that. Focusing your mind in front of your nose and your upper lip area, and start to observe the sensation of the inhalation, exhalation. So when it comes to sensation, it will help you to not to visualize, not to make anything happen, because the deeply you can connect to the sensation and follow the sensation. If you don't see the sensation, that is where you always going to think about it. You dreaming and you try to make things happen, visualizing regarding the breathing. So if you're going to do so, your mind going to become busy. So then you have to use your past experience. So once your mind involving with your past experience, you cannot you cannot see the reality. So the reality means whatever happened in this very moment. So, but when you come to the tranquility state, in that state, once the mind calm down, settle down, in that state that you are able to see very clearly the inhalation, exhalation exactly in that very moment, on time. And then separately recognize this is inhalation, this is exhalation. And then some inhalation become longer, shorter, heavy, soft, warm, cold, different nature. Each and every inhalation unique. In case if you see that, don't worry or don't wonder, just recognize it. And observe the entire continuation of the inhalation, exhalation from beginning to end. When you keep observe, sometimes for the very first time, you may experience some things, and even regarding your inhalation, exhalation, the way you feel it. But remember that whatever you feel, don't stuck there. Just observe deeply and recognize the very nature of it. And sometimes when you keep focus to inhalation, exhalation here in front of your nose and your upper lip area, your entire body you can see. It's kind of like a balloon moving your body up and down following the inhalation, exhalation. And sometimes you feel that in inner how this breathing work. So inside we have different ways the breathing move. Lungs, kidney with the bloods and with the joints, and in the abdominal area. It behave in a different ways according to that. And sometimes when your body become calm, relaxed, you may experience these things. But don't put too much attention to that. So whatever the feelings you recognize, just don't stuck with that and don't go with it, and recognize that everything change. So from there, stay with the inhalation, exhalation, and then we go to vipassana level of observation. So in that observation, the beginning recognize the very nature of impermanent that related with the inhalation, exhalation. The sensation that you experience itself and change. And also the inhalation, exhalation itself change. So see this both. Your feelings, your experience change. And at the same time, inhalation, exhalation also itself change. It is also not solid. Another thing is selflessness. So whatever the experience that you go through, that also selfless, and also the inhalation, exhalation itself selfless. And then unsatisfactory nature. There is no moment to settle down and bring the complete total satisfaction. It always changes moment by moment. Even that we feel sometimes good, that goodness cannot exit itself. Itself it's change. And the inhalation, exhalation itself cannot stay in the same condition. It itself change. So deeply observe that. And when you observe sometimes with your inhalation, exhalation, sometimes suddenly bodily sensation can arise. So recognize it and see the change and see how it is impermanent. And inside your experience also change, and outer the form or the whatever the sensation that the related to the sensation, whatever the outside form, as example, sound, smell, taste, sensation, thoughts, that itself it change. So recognize this both ways. And so that way, so whatever that any disturb come to you, it may can come as a sound. So what you hear, it change, and at the same time, that sound also, that sound itself doesn't have power to hold and exist the same. It also have the three nature. So now you recognize it, then inside, outside, the both have the same nature. Impermanent, selflessness, and unsatisfactory nature. So then how these things exist? How we experience? In it, we this experience according to the conditions things. When the necessary conditions there, then you experience it. When that condition's not there, you're not going to experience that. So moment by moment, step by step, observe that. And in case if you can't go with that, if it is too much for you, just stay with the inhalation, exhalation, let it calm down, and then just observe inhalation, exhalation separately. And when the mind get come to a kind of like a usable moment, when the mind become more sharp and clear, with that clarity start to observe the vipassana level of this, the worldly nature. And at the same time, remember, in vipassana level, it is not kind of like you separately observe the subject and object. It is not you going to recognize this is me and that is that. So like that you don't divide. You completely even become free from yourself also, and without any personal attachment, you observe, you recognize, you understand your own inner feelings also. So with that, let's practice a little bit. And your right palm on your left, and neck head straight in one line, and be comfortable with your posture. Bring your attention to your body and scan head to toes 3 times yourself and say Sopatveva, or may I be well and happy 3 times. Take a moment and think. We gathered here in this moment to practice this ancient meditation technique. All the Buddhas, all the enlightened masters followed this path and achieved wisdom. So we also gathered here to accumulate that knowledge. In this moment, with this sitting, may my body become more comfortable. May my breath be more smooth. May no difficulties come to me. May all the success come to me. Also think for a moment, this is the last moment we're spending in this very lifetime, and detach your mind from all your past memories and as well as any kind of future thoughts. Just try to remain in the present moment, observing the sensation of your inhalation, exhalation. So deeply and gently breathe in, breathe out 3 times, please. And find the sensation in front of your nose and your upper lip area. And observe your inhalation, exhalation separately. And recognize inhalation, exhalation as exhalation. If your mind go here and there, don't worry about it. Just keep focused to inhalation, exhalation. And observe the entire continuation of the inhalation, exhalation. You may experience some inhalation, exhalation become longer, shorter, heavy, soft, warm, cold. Just recognize it and accept it. And observe the very nature of inhalation, exhalation, impermanent, unsatisfactory nature, selflessness. Bring your attention to your body. Observe your posture. We cultivate loving kindness and compassion in our heart and radiate it as a light through your compound, village, city, state, country, world, and around this universe, and as far as you can through galaxies, other planets, stars. Reminding yourself like this with clear intention, mentally repeat after me. May all living beings in this universe be well and happy. May everyone be happy and safe, and may their hearts be filled with joy. May all living beings live in security and in peace. Beings who are frail or strong, tall or short, big or small, visible or not visible, near or far away, already born or yet to be born. May all of them dwell in perfect tranquility. Let no one do harm to anyone. Let no one put the life of anyone in danger. Let no one out of anger or ill will wish anyone any harm. Expand the loving kindness and compassion beginning from your heart. Visualize yourself and send it as a light forward to your backside to your left side and to your right side. Downward and upward. To all six directions at once, like the moon, the sun, spread the light, spread the energy without any condition, without any limitation, without any resistance or without any judgment. Let your heart to shine with the loving kindness and compassion from the bottom of it, with the maximum effort to the highest. Wishing yourself, may all living beings in this universe be well and happy. Say sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. So dear Dhamma friends, every day morning you have to appreciate yourself that how grateful you are and the life that you have and how fortunate you are to experience this life, even though in these all situations happening around us, that is still we are breathing. And so, and it always show us the very nature of life. And it is not only for this time period, it all the time happening. And when we look at the human history, this all the calamities keep happening, but we don't see it because we are busy with something else. Otherwise, nothing happening new. There's always things already whatever happened in the past, and it come. And it sometimes when it is already there and we don't see it. So like as example, our inhalation, exhalation. It is tip of our nose. But see how difficult to recognize it. So the same thing with the nature also. Same thing with the environment also. So whatever things happening sometimes we don't see. So it is better not to get disturbed whatever the situation and recognize that is as a worldly nature. And also, and we have this Dhamma and we have the Buddha's teachings available with us. And you have this beautiful life. This both very rare. And as you know, see how difficult to take care of this life. But still you are able to maintain yourself without getting into any kind of that hard, difficult situation. So, because you have done some meritorious act in the past, that's why as a result of that, you gain this all the beautiful opportunities. But at the same time, you have to remember that it's kind of like a land that you have a field. But if you don't cultivate something, if you don't use the land to do some farming, and if you don't get anything out of that land, so what will happen? What's the point that you can just having a land? It doesn't make any sense. If you have a land, you have to use it and bring something out of that land, and then that land become valuable. So the same thing with the dharma and same thing with our life. So the dharma is kind of like a land. Teaching is kind of like a land. And your life is kind of like a field. So what you cultivate on you, what you farming inside you, and what you get out of you. So what you get out of the dharma, every day just sitting and practicing meditation and listening to something and then you feel good, that doesn't make any sense. How far you have to go like this? And that do good, and sometimes see suddenly if that internet drop and maybe you get disappointed. Well, how it possible? Because you now keep practice meditation, and if suddenly if the internet drop, why you get disappointed? That's mean what? So like that you have to think a little bit deeply and see out of this all what we cultivate, what we gain, and what we increase inside us. Because by the time this everything going to change, you going to change, I going to change, this environment, nature going to change. One day, we all have to go. When the day comes for us to leave, we have to let go this everything behind us. And then we hold it to one thing, that is our mind. So if you don't develop the mind, if you don't cultivate the mind, it's kind of like the rainy season. It's kind of like the good sunny season. Now you have the land, you have the field. So you work hard and use that land to get something out of it. That is where the land becomes valuable. Otherwise, it's just the land. So then yourself, you have to look. Get out of your boundary line. Get out of that the limitations that you already put deeper in your heart as ordinary lifestyle. So you have to think beyond that. You have to understand something beyond that. And that is where you gain the result. And that result mainly, remember, it is not everybody can get that. And when it comes to Buddha's teaching, one of the very, very difficult thing that one time that the Buddha declared in his teaching. And even when you hear that, you terrify. And when you hear suddenly that a lot of people disagree for that. And when you hear that, anymore you don't want to walk in this path sometimes. There is something in Buddha's teaching. What is that? It is sometimes very difficult to get. It is sometimes very difficult to accept. But that is the truth. So what is that? So whatever you experience with your eye, ear, nose, tongue, body, and mind, with these six senses, through this all the perception that you experience, whatever you experience, is not real. See, how difficult to get that. So whatever you experience with your eye, ear, nose, tongue, body, mind is not real. If you are able to understand that, you reach to something better place than you are today. That what you experience, you're going to get into a better place. But the thing is, why that it is very difficult to get that? Why people start to attack when they hear that? Why people get disappointed? Because that we start to recognize, I am here. That so whatever the perception going to be not real. So then, am I real? So according to the Buddha's teaching, you are also not real in the deeper level, in the eternal truth, in conventional truth that we agree to things with the names and the forms, we agree to things. But in the eternal truth, and it is not something like that. So in the eternal truth, that whatever we experience is empty. And it is not real. It is an illusion. So, but have you ever, not while you practice meditation, why in day-to-day life, have you ever think about it and try to grab that to inside you and experience it? So, because that is one of the very difficult thing that what the Buddha said. That's why when in the beginning he had the kind of like the the doubt how these people going to get this. But still ourselves, if you able to understand this little by little, you have opportunity, you can get it. Why? Because that is the truth. And then other thing is, for deeper in your heart, the only place that you're going to be satisfied with the truth. There's nothing else. You can keep feeding to you anything in the world, but still you're not going to be satisfied. But when the day comes for you to see the truth, that is where you yourself release. So then always remember, when we think that I am Buddhist, oh, I practice Buddhism, oh, I practice meditation, oh, I always observe Buddhan Saranang Gacchami, Dhamman Saranang Gacchami, Sanghan Saranang Gacchami, oh, I observe precepts. So how about, can you devote yourself? Can you sacrifice yourself 100%? Can you absorb yourself? Can you accept yourself just to, even for a moment, 1 minute? All compounded things are impermanent. All conditions things are impermanent. Can you grab that for a moment? Can you represent that yourself 100% in your mind, to come to a point to release that everything and accept it? All compounded things are impermanent. All conditions things are impermanent. We know it. Conventionally, we know it, we say it, we study about it. But ourselves, can you sacrifice you for that dharma? Can you come to a point, it's kind of like you come to the peak of the mountain, and then from that point, you look the landscape. So like that, can you reach to the pinnacle of that understanding? All compounded things are impermanent. And can you look the landscape of your life? Can you just experience just a moment without having any doubt? If you're able to do that, one day, that is the day that you're going to transform to your liberation. But that is the journey that we go. It's not going to happen suddenly. Why? Because we have the defilement formations, we already have the habits to clean ourselves. So for that, there is something that what the Buddha means, you have to take the fully responsibility. So without, even in the conventionally, without understanding, don't accept. Without that clarifying yourself as something, don't accept. That is the very basic fundamental quality that you have to develop that in the journey of this wisdom path. But when it comes to our day-to-day life, look sometimes, and when we are with the husband, wife, children, friends and family members, and sometimes without any understanding, without any clue, without any reference, sometimes we accept things and we say yes to things and we go with things, and sometimes to make other people happy. We go with them, we accept them, we say yes to them. So that is the hindrance that we develop inside us. So if you are conventionally do that, do you think that eternally you can completely practice the opposite side? No, because the eternal life is shadow of your conventional life. Remember that. The eternal life is the shadow of your conventional life. Conventional life not going to become the shadow of your eternal life. It's not going to happen. So then, in the basically, you have to develop. That is what the dharma you need, because once you attain to the enlightenment, you don't need the dharma. So then we keep all the dharma and we thinking that it is help for us in when you are in the enlightenment state. No, then there is nothing else. Then you don't need this. You don't need the dharma once you attain to the enlightenment. But the dharma is to live ourselves. So then all conditions, things are impermanent. And when somebody die, maybe we put it as a death notice. No, in day-to-day life, how about our day-to-day life? Have you ever, when you go to sleep, have you ever thought about it? And when you're having the family members, when you are around others, have you ever thought about this? What we experience, as I mentioned from the beginning, what we experience with this eye, ear, nose, tongue, body, mind is an illusion. Sometimes it is too much. That is what the samsara. It is too much. Of course, it is too much for our mind sometimes. Why? Because the attachment is so strong. But if you see like that, it doesn't make any difference to your attachment, or it doesn't make any change to the people or the other things around you. It that make more comfortable your relationship, your family, your work, your life become more comfortable if you able to absorb that dharma and start to see with that knowledge. And other one of the most painful thing is, so that's why in the vipassana level, this is the, because you go to the raw level of organic level of life in vipassana. In samatha, it is not like that. In even samatha, you can manifest certain things, like that's why people can do many mental power, high mental powers. You can do some kind of magic, or different things, and you can fly, you can make fire, and you can swim on the ground, you can walk on the water, you can do many things in tranquility state when you develop the jhana. But in the vipassana, you become like a goldsmith. You observe, you investigate, you analyze the piece of rock, when it is green, when it is yellow, when it is colorful. You analyze it. When you analyze that, just imagine yourself. When the goldsmith, well experienced goldsmith, analyzed the piece of rock, how his mind work. So same like yourself, if you're able to analyze your own life, you're going to see its raw level, its organic level, nothing add. The other most painful, dangerous thing is, it is very dangerous. The one of the dangerous thing I mentioned, the what we just imagine, the what we see through our eye, ear, nose, tongue, body, mind is not real. And that is something. Another thing is, it is too hard to get. What is? All conditions things, all compounded things are impermanent. Very difficult to accept. Another thing is, all emotions are end up with pain. All emotions. And sometimes love, compassion, these things, if it is come as a part of the wisdom, it doesn't matter. But if it is come as a part of the emotions, it's going to end up with the pain. Maybe in the surface level, conventionally it look like good. The pain is, it's a suffering, end up with suffering. The suffering in Sanskrit is called dukkha. So the dukkha, that it's mostly why it is dukkha. Why emotions end up with the suffering? Why emotions end with the pain? Because that emotions related to the time. So whatever related to the time, it is subject to change. Emotions related to the time. That's why it say in the Western world, in this positive thinking, you have to act when the emotions high. Why? Because emotions like clouds, it disappear. So the emotions related to the time, there is no doubt, you cannot argue with for that. So if something related to the time, it is subject to change. If something has the nature to change, it never going to end with the satisfaction. It always going to end up with the pain. That's the worldly nature. So it is very, very difficult to get. Why? Because the emotions are the building blocks of our life. And emotions are the keep us holding to that each other. So it is very important for the world, conventional life. But you don't see that is the ingredients for the samsara. So then when you practice the vipassana means, you deeply going to inside you, not about outside. You going to deeper inside you, becoming like a goldsmith, becoming like an ironsmith, and beating, burning, bending, that you do whatever you want. So when it come to vipassana, you analyze, because you are totally free. You are not bound to anything. You're totally free. In that freedom, You become kind of like a hungry teddy bear. So then you investigate deeply to the bottom your emotions. Why? Because you are not personalize it. If you personalize, you cannot do it. So then you see, and you see and recognize it. So the emotions, if you don't recognize that way, you get the get the benefit out of the emotions. That is what we mostly do. We get the benefit out of the emotions. That's mean we depending from that. If you get the benefit, mean what? You depending from it. But that doesn't mean you don't see how you have to pay for that. You have to pay from the pain. So that's why it's a transform that your emotions to intelligence. Before it going to become the pain. So that is where in conventionally we name called matured. So if you able to transform your emotions to intelligence, we call you are matured. So then are you, not conventionally, are you spiritually, in this eternal path, are you become matured? As I mentioned from the beginning, are you matured with your mind, with the capacity, opening it more wider? And that is what called mental culture. Cultivate your mind. You become matured with that. So in the Theravada means, that is the very meaning of the Theravada. You become matured with the Dhamma. Not every day the same sutra, every day the same thing, you every day the same thing that you know. No, every day you become matured, uplift, becoming better with clarity in your mind. That is the path of the wisdom. So it is your responsibility. So remember, if you read the same book every day, still you can become matured. If you read the same sutra every day, if you have that clarity inside you to look deeply, every day you will see something. Even every day, if you keep doing the same meditation technique, because just changing the technique, changing the sutras, changing the talks, changing the teacher, changing the outside doesn't make you going to become inside matured. So to become inside matured, you have to learn the art of practicing vipassana. So what is that? Releasing from your own experiencing and observing freely without any condition. So you investigate yourself without self-centered or without self-interest, without personalizing your experience. So then when it come to, so then we summarize this all. When it come to your eye, ear, nose, tongue, body, mind experience, without personalizing, look what it is. Then you will connect it to recognize that it is illusion. Then you connect to the Dharma. That make you matured. You understand. Then you uplift your practice. Oh, what I learn is I see it. And then with your eye, ear, nose, tongue, body, mind, whatever you experience in day-to-day life, all confounded things are impermanent. Now you experiencing it. So you don't personalize, but you experience it. Then you become matured. Then you uplift your life to a better moment. And then you invest that your experience to your eye, ear, nose, tongue, body, mind to experience the world. Now you know all conditions, things are impermanent. So now that outside world, whatever that you know, it is not permanent, and also the whatever the inside experience, you know, you are It is not permanent. And then there is no place for emotions. So that is what the becoming mature. It is not by holding yourself, pushing yourself, tight yourself. It is not like that. In Buddhism, there is nothing like that. Remember that. You become more free, open, 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 open. There is nothing close or tight or hold, nothing. You become each and every cell, atom, you become free, open. In that openness, the awareness that what you gain is become more higher. And then there's no place for emotions. So this is the path of the vipassana. So in day-to-day life, little bit, even 1 minute, take refuge yourself to the all conditions, things are impermanent. In that minute, it's like as I mentioned, you come to the top of the mountain and you see the landscape from that level. So like that. So in that very moment when you observe all conditions, things are impermanent, in that very moment, whatever come to you as experience, and see that impermanent. And that will help you to little by little, uplift your inner experience and inner value. And that make you more kind of like heavy, that with the heavy understanding person, because mostly we have the shallow level of understanding. No, we see the impermanent. When you talk to anybody, then everybody know the impermanent, but it is very shallow level of understanding. If you ask what you see as impermanent, people say, oh, this change, that change, this die, that die. But how about the person itself, that as you take as you? Have you ever experienced that your five aggregates, how it changed? If you didn't see that what you see, that outside level of change, it's a very shallow level of understanding. That is not the real. It also kind of like understanding, but that is not the deeper level of stronger understanding. So then yourself experience little bit this vipassana level of practice, and you have all the opportunity. So remember, you are the land. It is not just for something to weed. So yourself to grow inside that something better and bigger, and bring the harvest and use it, because this body going to die one day. You cannot take this. This life going to go away, and the time is always behind us. As I mentioned, it is just not only for emotions, for everything. Time come behind us. If anything is related to time, it is subject to change. So then remember, no one can escape from that. But if you are able to understand this and invest your life and get the best out of it, and you have opportunity to transform your life from conventional life to liberation. So that is the effort, and I hope that this will help for everyone, and I bless upon everyone with this good practice. May all of you be well, happy and peaceful. May no harm come to you, may no difficulties come to you, may no problems come to you. May you also have the patience, courage, understanding, and determination to meet and overcome inevitable difficulties in your life. During this time period, may everyone stay healthy and safe. And finally, may all of you attain supreme bliss of Nibbana. Sabbityo vajjantu sabbarogo vinassatu mate bhavatvantarayo sukhi digayuko bhava. Ettavata ca ammehi sampadang punya sampadang sabbe deva numodantu sabba sampatti siddhya. Sabbe bhuta anumodantu sabba sampatti siddhya sabbe satta anumodantu sabba sampatti siddhya idamme punya kammang asavakkaya hotu sabba dukkha pamuncatu.